Welcome aboard tonight. It is the Australian Sports Car Championship penultimate round of season 2, the second last round of this championship. We are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight, the road course. And the drivers just finishing their warm-up session. We are on a replay. I was late, I had some work tonight, so the boys have once again allowed me to just delay the telecast, which means hopefully all the drivers are watching. And without giving us any details on what happens in the race and who wins it, let's hope get a little bit of insight on which accidents to look out for. Let's take you down to the track now and have a look at some of the cars that are circulating. Gee whiz, they look good. There's Daniel Yeaman. He's helped supply the replay file tonight. Ross Rizzo's out there as well. Adam Gardner. Good to see the admin team, the people that have put all this work into this series, getting out there to have a run. James Glasspool, one of them. Check out these beautiful little Audis running in tandem here. They look very, very nice indeed. There's Dylan O'Shea with him as well. Vincent Santucci, I should say. Mr. Hewitt in the Red Pepper racing car. So we've got a mix of different cars tonight, right through from Lamborghinis, Ferraris, BMWs. There's James Foster. Audis, of course, the Porsches. Well, let's take you down to the race. And this is how they will grid up tonight. So good luck to all the competitors. Hello, I'm Luke. This is RACESTARS TV. Let's get set for some action as they start to grid now. Will be a rolling start around this road course, and starting right at the front, it's Adam Gardner and Tyson Broad off the front row. Andrew Dyson will start from P3 with James Glasspool rounding out your top 4. Joshua Fitt will start from 5th tonight with James Foster out of P6. Dylan O'Shea and Vincent Santucci, I can't get that right tonight, Vincent, sorry mate, out of P7 and 8 with Thomas Hinds and Wayne Hewitt, your top 10. Then Tyson Hammer. Tyson, thank you for the stars. I'm welcome aboard again tonight. 11th place on the grid with Ben Croydon, rounding out your top 12. Smallish field tonight. 13th is Adrian Vlock with Justin Quinn there. Sebastian Flock at the back. Ross Rizzo will start from the back with Daniel Yeaman as well. Starting right down there with Stephen Gallagher right at the back. Let's get set to go racing. And, well, let's ask the chat. What's to go with the Pro-Ams up the front tonight? Daniel Yeaman says, yeah, it was a minor surprise to see the Pro-Ams front row. There you go. So it's interesting that, of course, the different colours of cars you can see up there. It is the green for the Pro-Am, the blue is the Pro drivers, and I'm surprised. Like I said, Dyson is your top Pro driver tonight. We'll start from the second row of the grid, and if James Glasspool, of course, Pro as well with him. But Croydon will start top of the Group C, or the amateur drivers tonight. So good to see them out qualifying. The top guys for this second last race of the series. Next week we will crown a champion, and we will say goodbye to the Australian Sports Car Championship for now anyway. It's been a wonderful thing to be a part of. So they roll around on their warm-up lap here in this Indianapolis road. I think every time I've been to this circuit, it's been exciting racing. It ends up being well, tight, close on the infield section, and then a lot of slipstreaming around the oval section of this racetrack. And from the chopper view you can see there's Tyson Broad. We'll start from P2 alongside Adam Gardner. On board with Adam Gardner now, the Ferrari off the front row, off the first position tonight. Adam, your profile picture there, is that really you? That was the worst impression ever. Right, let's get set to go racing as we come around. It's a very, very slow lap here to get us going. And a long lap at that. The safety car driver slowing things up in the midfield. Daniel Yeaman starting from down the back. That's surprising. And Ross Rizzo with him. There's some fast competitors right at the back of this order. So Rizzo, Sebastian Flock being another one. Well out of position tonight. And Yeaman, the Pro-Am competitor, right from the back. That's going to create an interesting battle for them as they push their way through the order. But it will be Tyson Broad that will lead us away with Adam Gardner. So Gardner on the inside. They slow up the pace car, continuing to go away. I tell you what, someone's on the down on the curtain there, just giving a little bit of a weave. Is that Dylan O'Shea? I think it might have been. So he's now getting right behind Joshua Fitt, and James Glasspool's there as well. We've got 3 Audis in 4th, 5th and 7th. Now we get the green, and I think we get racing. So yep, here we go. Down the pit straight for the first time here at Indianapolis. The green flag drops, and we are racing for what will be a 50-minute penultimate round of this series. Good start from Adam Gardner out in front. He's got the Sim Rigs drivers swamping all over the back of him. 3 of them, in fact, As we look further down the order, Croydon around the outside and pushing into the inside now. Oh, there's a spinner there. One of the Porsches has gone around and 3 or 4 cars involved in that one. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if there was any contact there. It looked like the Porsche may have lost the rear end. Adam Gardner's got away beautifully as Glasspool now fights with Dyson. They go through. James up into P3, Dyson 4th, and James Foster up 1 spot into 5th. Now Gardner. What a perfect getaway in the Ferrari tonight. He'll be loving every moment of this. As we look back from his car now, and the gap already 4/10 of a second in the opening lap. 4/10, and then it's a full second back to James Glasspool. We jump on board with him now, having a look forward. He's got to stay in touch here. He's got Dyson behind. Currently, Dyson just dropping back about half a second. And then you've got Foster, Fit, O'Shea. We've got a spinner down the back. Old Tyson Hanmer's off the track, comes back onto the track. And Rizzo and Sebastian Flock sneak through. Gee whiz, they're a long way back. They're 10 seconds off the lead. These drivers on the opening lap. It's crossing the line. Tyson Broad goes through and takes the lead of this motor race on lap 2. In the background, you can see Foster having a look to the inside on Dyson. He might try and slot down the inside. He does have a look halfway up, then decides to jump out of it, tucks back in behind. Let's jump on board with Andrew Dyson now. So out in front, Tyson Broad. Can he start to pull away a little bit now, the Porsche? He'll do his best, don't you worry. We're just going to quickly load up our replay software here so we don't get those pesky little problems that we when we look back. This might just help us a little bit. So I'm just having a look at this battle. Dylan O'Shea, let's jump on board with him for a moment. And O'Shea right underneath Joshua Fit. Team orders, let's throw the team orders out the window with a couple of weeks ago, I reckon. It's all just about racing, having some fun here and enjoying the final 2 rounds. Can you believe? Round 9 of this championship, and we'll give you an update a little bit later on how things are looking as well for the series. We've rounded it all out, so the time's back up on the screen for you, and that should have fixed that little issue. So Gardner in P2, hanging on 0.6 of a second. And here comes James Glasspool to have a look at him now. Glasspool down the inside, and that should be a job done. It is job done. Jimmy up now into 2nd place. He's made up 7 positions in the opening lap of 2 of this race, so great job. A little Audi out there pushing along 7 spots. I tell you what, James Foster's made up 9, and there's a few other drivers that have made up some good gains as well. I think because we had to reload those settings, I think we might have had a few little bugs in our positions tonight, but someone can remind us, where did Thomas Hinn start? Well, he's in 8th place now. Let's have a look back from him. Vincent Santucci has dropped a few spots tonight, and very wide off the racetrack there for a moment was one of the Audis, Dylan O'Shea it was. Now in the background, Santucci and Hewitt fighting. Hewitt in the Red Pepper racing car. How cool does it look? Goes to the inside, has a little bit of a look at the BMW. The BMW then has to back right out of the throttle because it's stuck up behind the Audi of Dylan O'Shea. Great fight between them. Shout out to a few people tuning in. Hello Jacob, hello Tyson as well. Says last time I was here was back when you were broadcasting AOG. Seems like a lifetime ago. Yes, that would be it. I think I've done an AOG race here, and also a fantastic F3A race I think was raced here, and it went right down to the wire. I just remember it being super exciting. So ignore the gains tonight because we're on a replay file. It looks like our gains, minuses and pluses, the red and the greens, may have just wigged out. Ignore those. The timing though is live and should be okay as Foster and Dyson dice over this 4th position. The top 3 have already just sneaked out a little bit now. As far as strategy goes tonight, we will see a pit stop, one compulsory pit stop, or one stop that's needed, that's for sure. And I think around lap 11 is when we'll see some of the drivers start to come in. Yeaman's already got himself up into 11th now from the back of the order, so he's pushing along nicely in that Drop Bear Motorsport, Audi, blue and white. Blue to represent Beyond Blue. Next week we're going to donate some money. As we wrap up this series, we've got to remind Daniel to get that link ready so we can donate here from RACESTARS TV, or else I might be able to just flick him some money prior to the event and he can put it up there so I don't have to actually do it live. We can just show her that we have done it. So I think they've raised over $500 last time we checked in. Fantastic for such a good cause, Beyond Blue. So well done to the Drop Bear Motorsport team. Of late, they've done a good job. As Broad leads from Glasspool, the gap back to Gardner now, P3. He's just dropping back slightly, 1.4 seconds off the lead. And then as they go into this twisty little infield section, the back end of the car sliding around, you can see Dyson in behind. We're riding on board with him now. The change of direction in here is so hard to get right. And look at this long shot, shows the it's Foster there, isn't it? Joshua Fitt as well. Just closing in from behind. And the 59 Privateer, well, he's none of the Privateers, he's a Sibriggs car, but doesn't come through on our broadcast overlay. He's got Thomas Hinz next in the order, the Porsche, running in 7th place. Now Tyson Broad leads the race in a Porsche. This is the second Porsche in the order, 7th place, and Dylan O'Shea as the angry Red Pepper Racing car right behind him as well. I think what's happened is the team names haven't loaded in because I had to do that refresh. Let's just try and bring those in for you as well. Because I can do 1,000 things on the fly tonight, don't worry, it's all good. We'll get it there eventually. Big thanks again to the admin team. They were happy for me just to rock in. I had to drive 600 k's to get back for this broadcast tonight. I got here just an hour or so ago. So there we go, now that should be a little bit better. So Tyson Broad crosses the line, 1 minute 24.7, about 3/10 quicker. The Audi of James Glasspool really starting to give him a run for his money. Let's ride on board and just watch how this track, for those that are new to this Indianapolis infield, just watch the way it weaves now through the right-hander coming up now, and then it tightens up on itself. You've got to trail the brake in here. Through the right-hander, short little burst of acceleration, then into what is relatively a hairpin to the left. So hard on the brakes once again. Turn the car in, get it to then accelerate for another short little blast before you then got onto this first little straightaway. So we head down this straightaway, DRS zone, which we're obviously not using DRS in these sports cars. Now we head into this next little dog leg before heading out onto the oval once again. So we to the left, then a sharp little right-left combination as James navigates that very well. Very patient on the throttle, and then we start to head back towards the oval. Open the throttle out now because watch the transition. This can catch you out on an oval track sometimes. Is there a bump? Looks pretty smooth. Up onto the banking now and flat stick. Try and get into the slipstream of your competitor in front. It is Tyson Broad. He might be a sitting duck because Glasspool's got a great run and he backs out of the throttle. There you go. He's saving fuel, which is quite evident by the sound we can just hear from the motor as he backs right out of the throttle. In the background, Dyson's dicing with Gardner. Gardner stays ahead and Foster has a little bit of a look as well. Back on board now with James Foster, Atari Autosports, changing that team up, and he's looking good, isn't he? Currently P5. Can he get himself a top 3 tonight? These sort of races, they tend to have some late incidents, and I think most of our oval hybrid tracks we've been to in any series of late have seen some controversy at the end, drivers going below the line and incidents right at the finish line. Will we see that again tonight? We're 50 minutes here for this penultimate round. 7 minutes in now, no one has stopped as yet. We're starting to see all the drivers out on their first set of tyres and they're opening fuel. Yeaman in the background, just dropping back in 10th place. He's trying to catch Dylan O'Shea, who's just up the road, about 8/10 up the road. He's in his own little battle here with Wayne Hewitt. Look out the back from Wayne's car. So Daniel just saying there that looking forward to this place getting a rescan. The road course has changed quite a bit since this version. It needs a bit of a, I guess just a little bit of a refresh in general, as O'Shea pushing Wayne Hewitt down the pit straight. As close as you want to get. There you go. That's how close he was. He was right inside the rear bar. So yeah, if they give this one a bit of a freshen up, definitely looks a bit dated now as far as iRacing goes, but it's some great low to the ground shots like that one to show how beautiful these cars look. And James Glasspool has gone around. He's in the gravel trap down there. And Vincent Santucci went as well. I wonder if there was contact between them. No, maybe not. There's a bit of separation there, but James has dropped all the way back now after challenging for a win. Now Sebastian Flock's off as well. Is that the same spot? I reckon both drivers, look at that, almost identical. You can see from the witness marks in the gravel trap there that both of them have gone off in a very, very similar position. So Sebastian drops down to 18th place now as he gets back into it. 2 seconds, the gap at the front. The top two at the moment. It's quite a distance, isn't it? James Foster still leading Joshua Fitt here in front. You can see Gardner getting a little bit excited, trying to get past Andrew Dyson. The leaders checked out in behind. Oh, that's close. Bit of contact. No, good driving, Fitt and Foster. And Josh Fitt ends up getting through without further issues there. Thomas Hinds now moves right up onto the back of James Foster as well. So here we go. Let's ride on board with James Foster for a little bit. Jump onto the nose camera through this twisty section. Can he get himself now up into the top 5? He's one place off that now for the Sim Racing Channel driver. And Thomas, oh, he closes right up again. The Natari driver of James Foster in front, pushing the envelope against Joshua Fitt. And then Gardner at the moment. This little battle of 4 or 5 cars separated by less than a second and a half. Graham Ellis is in the house. Hello, Graham. Thanks for the stars, man. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday night. I feel like the weekend is just gone. It's, how did everyone else enjoy their weekend? I would like to know. Please make me jealous and tell me you had a fantastic weekend. I know yesterday for me, I had to drive to Gosford and back, and then today I was down to Cootamundra and back. So, been crazy. And I've definitely had enough of seeing the open road, that's for sure, as we see Thomas Hinds now and Foster. Here we go. Let's jump on board with James Foster. This will tell us if Thomas Hinds is saving fuel or he wants to go up another position, because he's got a fantastic tow, fantastic run, moves alongside the BMW, and then down the inside, does he have a go? Oh, that was a half-hearted look. And he doesn't. He stays in P6. So I feel like we're in a little bit of a fuel-saving merry-go-round at the moment. I'm not seeing a lot happen out there. These drivers could definitely overtake if they wanted to, but we're just seeing the stagnant, I guess, first half of the race till that first pit stop. Jacob had a nice quiet weekend, just relaxing. That's what I want to hear. I'm very jealous. Graham said very quiet for me, just learning more about this new car I bought. What did you buy? What new car? Sounds interesting. So we're just looking back now. Thomas Hinds, Foster, Hewitt's just dropped back a little bit now. 7/10 off the back of that. He's trying to, I guess, keep O'Shea out. And Daniel Yeaman has joined the party. So remember a little bit, probably 3 laps ago, we were speaking about Daniel Yeaman having to close up a margin. He's done that now. And he's right there on the back of O'Shea. By the end of this pit straight, as we're coming through the final corner here onto the pit straight at Indianapolis, he should be very, very close to the back of Hewitt and O'Shea. So he's got himself back in this now, 5.6 seconds, first back to 9th place. Remember, that was out to about 10 seconds at the start of the race. So Daniel Yeaman, his lap times are 1:24.3. And that time around, now that was about 9/10 quicker than your race leader. So that's the sort of pace you want if you want to come from the rear of the field and end up getting yourself a podium tonight. 22 Mitsubishi Outlander, nice. Very nice. Well done, Graham. You're going to set that up for going off-road or out in the bush or camping or something? Sounds like a great car. I've never had a new car to this day. I've had a new motorbike, but I've never had a new car in my life. I'm not sure I ever will. I'd love to have a new car, but I definitely buy, both my motorbikes that I've owned have been brand new. Don't trust anyone else to have them before me. But I was thinking of selling my motorbike and upgrading soon. So we'll see how that goes. But Daniel's been flat out like a madman. It says alternate. What did it say? Like a mad between flat out and heavy saving in this phase of the race. So it's. I'm just trying to work out what you mean by that. Alternating like mad between flat out and heavy saving. Okay, I understand it now. So Daniel here, up into the 9th place. He's trying to go as quick as he can to catch these drivers, but then save fuel. So he did a 1:25 that time around, backing off the pace. So that time he was about similar to the lead pace as he fuel saves. Thanks, Daniel. I'm a bit frazzled, as you can probably tell. You'll have to point things out to me tonight. You have to fuel save as well as then just try and close the margin, which he has done now. And Ross Rizzo has gone with him as well. So Ross is in 10th, Yeaman 9th, and Hewitt just in front. So we've got basically a train of cars now from Dyson back to Yeaman. And that gap is about 4 seconds, covering about 8 or so cars. So we'll just keep an eye on this. We'll try and do a fixed camera for you shortly, just so you can see the distance. This one will do. So as they go through, there goes Gardner. Then you can see Fit, Foster, Hins, O'Shea, then Hewitt, Yeaman, and Ross Rizzo on the back of that. Then James Glasspool goes through now. He's back in 11th, and Santucci, so you can see how far back they've fallen. But let's jump on board with Daniel, and let's see what progress he makes this time. Down the pit straight away. Listen to the throttle trace into the straightaway as he closes up to Wayne Hewitt's Red Pepper racing car. They cross the line. Hewitt does a 24.9, so does Yeaman. And listen to that fuel saving. Massive fuel saving. And down the gears. Gee whiz, it sounds good, this car, doesn't it? This is the Audi for Daniel Yeaman. And it looks incredible as well. Love that shot tonight. So Yeaman just about 4/10 ahead of Rizzo, who's got the driving light on again. I'll tell you what, I could have used one of those tonight out on the freeway. One of those big driving lights. A couple of the trucks had them. And he's got that ablaze, Ross Rizzo. But like I said, we're in this bit of a waiting phase now for the first lot of pit stops. Meanwhile, out in front, Broad, 1.3 seconds. That gap's come down a little bit now. I remember it was out to over 2. Dyson's just starting to close it up, and Gardner's running with him. I'm loving seeing Adam Gardner, Mark 1 eSports, right up there in the top 3 and challenging. He could get himself a win tonight. We're jumping on board with him now in the Ferrari. You can see in that LCD display revision mirror, Joshua Fit, he's got the headlights ablaze. James saying, I don't fuel save because I can't be bothered. I think that's how I race too. I always struggled with fuel saving. I'm the sort of guy that tries to fuel save and I'll throw the clutch in and then shift down 3 gears without popping the clutch out again, and all of a sudden I'm facing the wrong way. Justin Quinn's gone for a bit of an excursion. Drops to the back of the order. Adrian Vlock, we haven't spoken about it at all tonight. There he is, running in 17th place, just behind Sebastian Flock. And both these drivers, I think, have had some issues tonight to push them so far back. Ben Croydon as well is currently 3rd in the amateur class. There's your class leaders as we hit the 17-minute mark of the race. So the Pro-Am leader, Tyson Broad, and the outright leader as well. We've got a Pro-Am driver leading this race from the Pro driver, Dixon, who's in P2. And then the top amateur driver, Tyson Hanman now. Great drive in the BMW. He's just down there in 13th outright. Jump on board with him now. It's a pretty clear track in front and a very clear track behind. You can see Gallagher, and Ben Croydon about 3 seconds back. Tyson, keep on with it. This looks like a class victory tonight if you can keep that sort of pace up. So back with your race leader, 1.3 seconds. Andrew Dyson, P2. The cars aren't as loud here tonight in Indianapolis because all the cameras are set back a long way. Sort of show you how far back they are. There's up in the stands for tonight's cameras. Here's another one. We'll show you. We'll zoom them back and show you where they are. They're right up in the pit buildings there. Right up in the bleachers. Now this tight little turn in. Gardner all over the back of Dyson once again. How cool is that shot? Big grandstand here. This infield section, weaves its way around. There's a couple of trees in there. It's good to see they've left a few trees in. And Andrew Dyson still just holding out that gap. It's a Gardner, not by a lot though. Dylan O'Shea, he goes to the inside on Thomas Hinds. Job done, nice overtake. So the Audi gets past on the Porsche. Rizzo's got past on Yeaman as well. So Yeaman in 9th place. Ross Rizzo's leapfrogged a couple of drivers there. He leapfrogged Wayne Hewitt and Daniel Yeaman to be up into 8th now. So Daniel might try and just go with Ross on this next little phase. They're 5.8 seconds off the race lead. Now if they're saving a lot of fuel, which I think they probably are, they'll be in a good position once we do that fuel stop. Lap 15 now. The pit window is open. I think it was lap 11 to 18, I think the numbers were tonight. Let me just double check that for you. Definitely, we may see someone jump in and just try something alternate shortly. So lap 9 to 21 was the pit window tonight. 21 being the maximum you can do out of a tank of fuel. So Daniel's just saying that, yeah, easy draft for Ross, and then continues on. You guys can read the comments. I'm over to Shocker tonight. I can't read the comments, so bit of eye fatigue, I think, jumping back on this PC. Hey, at least the echo's gone. That pesky echo that's been coming and going. I don't know what it is. Some days it likes me, some days it doesn't, this PC business. Maybe the other night I was ready just to pack it up. You would have got a message from me on Facebook saying, thanks everyone for watching. It's been a blast. Catch you later. The computer's now halfway down the paddock. But we got it sorted in the end. Definitely some stress I don't need as we watch Dylan O'Shea, Foster and Fit. And Fit has to go defensive. On board with O'Shea, number 19 Audi. Look at the way they get up on the curb there. It's risky business. The back end of James Foster's car isn't looking altogether secure. And we got someone off the track. Santucci again's going for a bit of a Leyland Brothers adventure, as we like to say here. Comes back on and gets back into the action. Adam Gardner still sitting here in P3 as they go through. Fit, Foster, O'Shea and Hinds. Not too far behind. Down the pit straight. Check it out. Wall camera. We'll pick up Wayne Hewitt. Oh, you can hear that fuel saving. You can just hear when they initiate that fuel saving. There goes the Red Pepper Racing Angry Pepper car. Fantastic. So let's pick someone to ride on board with. I reckon Dylan O'Shea will be exciting right now for some visor cam. Let's do it. He's all over the back of James Foster. We'll ride this out with him. Let's put up the dashboard. I think it's a bit delayed. Daniel was telling us last week this SDK dashboard, but check out the speed. Up towards 200 clicks now. 5th gear. It's definitely delayed, isn't it? Down through the gears now. 3rd. Just gets on the apex. 2nd for a moment here, right back into 1st gear, 100 kph in 1st gear, now through the right-hander in 2nd gear, up into 3rd, and then start feeding the throttle in. Let's see what sort of speed we get underneath the rear wing of James Foster. Down the pit straight away. Flat out, 240 kph as he goes through the final corner here onto the pit straight at Indianapolis. 260. Under the wing, once again getting a great slipstream, pulls out of the toe, gets a slipstream from the car in front. Joshua Fit gave him a little bit of a toe there before he moved over, and 280 kph as he goes into the corner side by side, and Foster backs out of it, goes back now to 6th place. O'Shea up into 5th, Fit just in front. I tell you what, there's a bit of teamwork going on there, I think, with the draft. When Dylan O'Shea pulled to the right-hand side, you could see that he was picking up the toe from Joshua, who was about a couple 100 metres up the road, or 100 metres up the road. But it worked for him. He probably would have liked him just to stay there a little bit longer. Here's a replay. So you just see, look at that, when he pulls out of the toe, look at that black shadow up in front is his teammate. And that helped him just move along a little bit further, and now in fact he's right behind his teammate and about to, I think, look for another overtake. good battle going on here. 23 minutes into the race now. O'Shea's all over Fit, and then probably needs to get a wriggle on here, get past Fit, and then get on after Gardner. Gardner at the moment, even with these drivers getting a relentless tow behind, has been able to hang on to third place. The issue he's got is dropping off the back of Dyson and Broad by a fair margin now. It's 3 seconds. And here they go, the Simrigs cars helping to push. They go either side of Gardner. Gardner goes up to the top of the track, and he'll swing in, but down the inside goes one, maybe two. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between those two. Big crash there. Gardner's gone around. So is O'Shea. So it was a big effort, a big moment. And, well, I don't know if he was far enough alongside. Gardner let Joshua Fit go through, and then I think he slammed the door shut. And after that, there was some contact. So we'll have a look at that on a replay as we stay live with the race leader. So it was down the pit straight away. You could see them working together. So O'Shea giving it a bit of a push there to his teammate. Then they go either side. Gardner moved to the top of the track. Now we'll go on board here, so we'll just miss exactly what happens. But Gardner moves down there, slams the door shut. He touches the apex just as the Audi, I think, was trying to also make its way through. And just like that, two drivers lose all their track position and drop back in the race. So now it's Broad, Dyson and Fit, your top three. Foster up into fourth, and Ross Rizzo has entered the top five, ladies and gentlemen. Fifth place ahead of Hinz and Daniel Yeaman. Just watching now with Yeaman. Let's jump on board. Let's try that, Daniel. We're in spectator mode, so let's try driving mode. Put up that dashboard. Here we go. Let's see if this is more in sync on the gear changes. Oh, that's better, much better. 190, third, back to second. Why wouldn't they make it always sync? That's incredible. Nice little tip there, Daniel. Get things all synced up on that driver overlay. We'll just leave it in driving mode now. As Tyson Broad continues to lead this. 1.5 seconds. The Porsche out in front, and the Pro-Am driver out in front, more importantly, because wouldn't this be an upset tonight to see a Pro-Am driver beat all the pros? We've only got 2, 4, 6, 7 pros in the house tonight, as the numbers have come down a little bit towards the end of this season, but let's hope we have everyone here. Let's have everyone here for the final week next week, a big party to celebrate what's been a great series for 2 seasons here on RACESTARS TV, but importantly thank all the people that have put time and effort in to make it fun for the drivers. Righto, here we go. We've got James Foster in the pits now, the first driver to pull the trigger on a pit stop. So let's see how long this takes him. You can see he goes past Daniel Yeaman's pit crew. Tyson Broad, let's see how long he stops for to take on fuel. He's stationary now, 3 seconds into his pit stop. I'll let you know when he drops off the jacks. He's dropping right to the rear of the field. In fact, he may even come out behind 18th place Justin Quinn, who's 42 seconds off the lead. So he was 12.9 seconds stationary. James Foster, there's our first indication on the fuel stop now. So Adam Gardner after that spin, and Dylan O'Shea, they've just dropped back to 9th and 10th. These two competitors. And ahead of them, James Glasper, who is challenging basically for a win tonight, and he's also going for an excursion and a spin. So 7th, 8th and 9th covered at the moment by 4 seconds. Tyson Broad 1.5. He stays out for another lap, so he's not into the pits yet. Who will be next in? We expect all of them to probably come in the next couple of laps as it gets to the end of that pit window. Daniel Yeaman putting a little bit of pressure on Ross Rizzo as we look back from Rizzo's car. Ross up into the top 4 now that Foster's jumped down. He did come out pretty last as well. So that 13-second stop for Foster puts him to the back of the order. The top amateur driver now, Tyson Hammer, into the lane. and he's going to take his fuel to take him to the end now. So 22 minutes to go. Maybe some of them expected the safety car. I don't think we're going to get it tonight. It's very, very spread out, this order. And the gap 1.3 at the front. Let's have a look at the track map. Just shows you how spread out they are across that first couple of sectors. 11th place, or 10th place even, 13.3 seconds back now. I'll definitely be here next week for the finale. I'll be on time. I've got nothing that's going to get in the way next week. I plan on having the majority of the weekend off, hopefully. So we'll be able to just extend the broadcast a little bit at the end, I think, and I'm sure all the admin team will want to come in, have a chat, thank the drivers, and it's not just about giving out a 1, 2, 3. We're going to have class winners as well, the pro class, obviously the pro-am class, and the amateur class. Will have their own little mini series to decide. Speaking of series, let me just I'll bring up some points for you shortly. So we might just do the overall points to start with, because I know Daniel was kind enough to send through the Drivers' Championship sheets for me, which is fantastic. I'll see if I can't get that loaded in just to give you a look at the championship. So coming into this round, it was Ross Rizzo still sitting on top in this championship. 943 points over Thomas Hinz and James Foster. So that's your top 3 before tonight's round, obviously with this round and 1 more to go. So there's a couple of drivers out there tonight. Ross Rizzo in 4th, so Thomas Hinz at the moment, who would want to be in front of him, is in P6. So that's an interesting little stat tonight. Thomas might need to just try an extra thing or two tonight. He's just dropping back from Yeaman as well. The gap's now 1.8. Back to Daniel Yeaman, who comes onto the pit straight again. Will he stop for fuel? Surprise, lap 23, half an hour into the race now. Let's jump on board with Daniel. Still, I think, leeching a bit of fuel saving opportunity here off Ross Rizzo. Have a listen how early he puts the clutch in here on this pit straight. Here it goes. That's all fuel saving. It's beautiful to listen to, isn't it? Ross kept the boot into it for much, much longer. So Daniel will be out next week too. Scott's commentary duties, that's fair enough. But we'll see. Whoever rocks up to race, it'll be good nonetheless. And a chance for us to thank the people that put effort in, Daniel being one of them, of course, but Adam and James and others that put a mega amount of effort in to get this series running through. Big thanks to them. We've got 3 now pro drivers behind Tyson Broad. I wonder what Andrew Dyson's thinking right now. He's like, all right, I'm the pro driver here. We've got this little pesky Pro-Am Porsche in front. How can we get past him? All right, let's go for a lap here. Audio up. Enjoy. So Tyson Broad into the pits, Fit, Rizzo and Yeaman all in the pits as well. Andrew Dyson carries on, so he feels he can do a couple more laps here tonight, or at least another lap. But yeah, O'Shea's on, Gardner's into the pits as well, so all these drivers have decided now is the time to fuel up. Lap 26. Dyson, I'm surprised in fact that he can carry on. He must be feeling very, very confident. But Tyson Broad, who's been out in front for many, many laps now, let's see what this difference is in fuel stop, because quite often if he hasn't been able to save it all, a couple of drivers behind might be able to just give him the jump here. Just watch Ross Rizzo. He's out already, so Rizzo and Yeaman are heading down the lane, and this will be tight because Dyson is leading this one by a mega margin, but he has to stop. Sebastian Flock goes through. He's yet to stop as well, but Tyson Broad comes out in third place, ultimately leading this race from Daniel Yeaman and Ross Rizzo. Yeaman jumped Rizzo in the stop there, and we know Yeaman's been doing a massive amount of fuel saving. He took just on 2.5 or 2.25 seconds less fueling time in the pit stop. That's why he was able to get in front. Now he's just got to be really, really careful to hold this together on the outlap. Don't throw it away. So the hard work's been done, and Daniel Yeaman, the Pro-Am driver, will sit in third spot in a couple of moments, because Andrew Dyson is in the lane from the lead to take his fuel stop. Sebastian Flock ought to be in as well, you would think. I'm not sure he'll get 27 laps out of a tank of fuel, so Sebastian Flock is in fact just in front of Tyson Broad. We'll see him come into the pits too. So he filters off into the pit lane. You can see this on the inside. His fuel stop, using all of that curb. You can see him right up against the little witch's hats there. So Broad goes through into the lead. Andrew Dyson in fact got out in front. Wow, so Andrew Dyson leads. After that, was a great little fuel stop there. It was in fact a second quicker than Tyson Broad's fuel stop. So Dyson leads now. Broad being put back to second, the Pro-Am driver, after leading the majority of the first part of the race. And Daniel Yeaman has got himself up into third. Can he get on with this and catch the top two? Rizzo fourth, Joshua Fit fifth. Then you got Glasspool back in sixth place. James Foster in seventh. He stopped early. He was one of the drivers that stopped on lap 20. James Foster, Thomas Hinz behind him, Dylan O'Shea, and Adam Gardner, after being up there in the top three, sits in 10th place for Mark 1 eSports. And behind him, Wayne Hewitt, keeping him company right now. So it's still Simrigs 1-2, but the order has changed around a little bit now. Let's jump on board with the Porsche of Tyson Broad. So 3 seconds it is between the leader and Daniel Yeaman. That's important to note. Daniel says, I was very worried about my fuel number at this stage. SDK was telling me I could be 1 lap short. So there you go. And you never know with these time certain races as well, because sometimes you have to do an extra lap if it goes quite close on time. For example, if you cross the line at 49 minutes and 57 seconds and you do an extra whole lap, you've got to hope that your fuel calculator has worked that out, put enough in the tank. Thomas Hinz back in 8th place. He'll want to try and get a bit closer to James Foster to get some advantage at the toe. At the moment it's 0.8 of a second, so not getting full advantage of a slipstream. Dylan O'Shea behind him, same deal. Basically these cars have gapped out quite a way. The only one getting a toe back here in 11th is this Lamborghini of Wayne Hewitt, as he chases down Adam Gardner. So other than that, the field is spread out. The closest gaps we've got are around this 0.6 of a second, and up the top 0.8 of a second between your race leader and Foster and Hinz are within 0.8 of a second as well. Everything else is quite gapped. 38 minutes in, so just on 11 and a half, 12 minutes to go in the race. Could we see a last little bit of flair here? Let's run through the pit stop strategy and the pit stop numbers. So right hand side of your screen shows what lap they stopped on. Left hand side of the screen will show how long they stopped for. So lap 26 for Dyson, 1 extra lap he got out of the tank of fuel at the start. Then he took 10.5 seconds worth of fuel. 11.4 for Broad on lap 25, 9 seconds for Yeaman on lap 25. So that to me is the big one to look at. Daniel Yeaman, will he have enough fuel at the end? Ross Rizzo took 10.8 seconds worth of fuel on lap 25, and Josh Fitt 13.3. So Josh overfueled that car, unless there was something else going wrong in the pit stop. And Glasspool's got himself back into this now, 6th place, and he stopped as well for 11.2 seconds. So hopefully that little table gives you an indication on where each driver's at. James Glasspool at the moment just on 9/10 behind Joshua Fitt. Take this moment just to talk about what we got coming up this week on RACESTARS TV. I've got to check my calendar, there's a fair bit still going on. So obviously Tuesday night is the finale. We've got a few finales coming up this week. So the finale of F3A from Le Mans. So that is going to be mega. So the silver and the gold races this Tuesday from Le Mans. I get tomorrow night off, so I got a night off tomorrow night. Thank goodness. Tuesday is F3A, the final round. V8 Veterans then on Thursday, Friday. I think that's the penultimate round for them as well, as we head towards the end of their season. And then Sunday, the very final ASCC race, which will be fantastic. Make sure you put that in your diary next Sunday, 8 o'clock. Monday, the Roadster Rumble are back. And then we've got the Supercar Pro Series round number 2 on Wednesday night from Winton. So that should be fun as well. If you haven't already checked out that Pro Invitational Series, go and do so. It was a mega first race. And lots more to come. You can just see Ross Rizzo in the background there. The gap, 4.4 seconds. First back to 4th. Does the Trans-Tasman Racing driver have an answer tonight for a couple of Simrigs cars and a Drop Bear Motorsport? In fact, we've got 3 Simrigs.com cars in the top 5. Make that 4 in the top 6. So it's just Rizzo and Yeaman, the 2 odd ones out in that top 6 at the moment. New fastest lap of the race from the man who's meant to be saving fuel. Daniel Yeaman does a 1 minute 23.89. So he's trying his hardest here to catch the back of Tyson Broad so he can get the advantage of the toe and save some fuel. I guess it's a massive risk versus reward here for Yeaman. He might need to use a bit of extra fuel to catch the back of this, but then he'll have 5 or 6 laps of giving back to him by being able to slipstream and save fuel. So this is a risky point of the race for Yeaman. It's do or die. He's throwing everything at it. He was about 6/10 quicker on the previous lap to Dyson and Broad, and the gap now down to 1.4 seconds to Broad. So there's a shot back. You can see the headlights of Yeaman in the distance. Not really close enough though. He'll be getting a little bit of assistance from the toe, but probably not enough with just on 8 minutes to go in the race. Mega lap time though at 23.8. I don't think anyone else has dipped into the 23s yet tonight as I look down the order. No. First driver to dip into the 1 minute 23s, Daniel Yeaman. That Audi R8's working very, very well for him. Sounds good, doesn't it? Number 85, Drop Bear car. We've got a bit of a battle here between James Glasspool and Joshua Fitt. This is a couple of sister team cars here racing wheel to wheel. Glasspool just in front by a whisker. And gloves are off between the Simrig guys by the looks of things, which is what we want to see coming into this second last round of the championship. Behind them, Thomas Hinds now has also closed the margin to James Foster for 7th place. And then down the order, Ben Croydon still leads the amateur class tonight. He's fighting with Sebastian Flock, one of the pro drivers, and Croydon having a look at the inside on Flock. That was very close. He might get this yet, you know. He gets wheel to wheel with Sebastian, and that's job done. So good drive, the amateur driver there, taking it to the pro driver, but then he runs wide, and is he out of fuel? No. Not sure what happened there. He had a big cough and a splutter, and Ben Croydon drops back a couple of positions. In fact, loses out to Stephen Gallagher. Got to slow down. There you go. So that's an indication from Ben what happened. So that's unfortunate. That slowdown's cost him the lead of the amateur class tonight. He might try and get that back though, because he was fighting very well there with Sebastian Flock. Back to the top two. 1.8 covers the top three. Ross Rizzo, I don't think, has had enough speed in that Lamborghini tonight to run with the top three. He did a 124.2 last time around. And remember, he took a little bit less fuel than Tyson, and about a similar amount of fuel as Andrew Dyson on the previous, or on the fuel stop tonight. So I reckon he might be in a little bit of fuel trouble as well. P4, 4 seconds off the lead. The top three, 1.5 seconds between them. Daniel Yeaman doing everything he can to try and attach to the back of Broad. The gap's still 1 second. On board with him now. 5 minutes to go in the race. We're getting down to the closing moments now. We will be talking hopefully to the top three after this. They're going to try and come in for a quick chat so we can discuss the race. And it's been a mega race of fuel saving, hasn't it? One thing I've been loving about the veterans, which we do Thursday, Friday nights, is the new strategy that they're running, or the new compulsory pit stop, but they've allowed more fuel to go in the tank for the second, or for the first and second stops, which has just changed the strategy up a bit. You don't generally get the same. You don't get a lot of fuel saving anymore. It's more hard racing, which is what I love. These drivers having to do a lot of tiptoeing tonight. 1 minute 23 again for Daniel Yeaman. So he's, for a man who's tiptoeing here trying to save fuel, he's got that margin down to 1.2 to the leader, and importantly 7/10 to the car in front. So it's not over yet. So this is what it looks like. That's what 4/10 of a second looked like between Dyson and Broad. And Yeaman now 1.2 back from the car we're riding on board with. Ross Rizzo just dips inside the 4 second barrier, 3.8 now. And as Adam Gardner went a little bit wide, he's dropping back, isn't he? 7.6 seconds off the back of Thomas Hinds. P9 may be the best Adam will get tonight after being up there in the top three and showing his hand earlier. He was very, very good. Dylan O'Shea, by the way, has retired from the race. He's in the pit lane, and that's, I think, going to be the end of his run tonight. So the simrigs.com number 19 Audi of Dylan O'Shea has retired from tonight's ASCC penultimate round. So down the pit straight again. Let's have a look from our pit vantage point. Here they come, flat out. The race leader goes through, and Broad and Yeaman has closed up even more, hasn't he? So the margin between the top three now down to 7/10 of a second. That was a good lap. Yeaman once again took half a second out of the top two drivers, and there's a lot of fuel saving going on, and I reckon Daniel might be about to overtake Tyson Broad. Meanwhile, down the end of the pit straight, there's a bump between the two teammates, and Glasspool goes off into the weeds. I think Josh was trying to give the position back, but unfortunately he's let it go now, so he's taken off into the distance, and Gardner's off as well now, so he's now off the track. Let's go back to the lead battle though, because it's starting to heat up with under 3 minutes to go, so probably 2 laps to go in the race. Daniel Yeaman is all over the back of Tyson Broad. We've got a pro driver leading 2 Pro-Am drivers, and these 2 Pro-Am drivers are very, very hungry to try and take a win away. So it's all happening here. Dyson out in front, and we're 47 and 42 in. Look in the background, Yeaman having a look. Oh boy, that was close. Oh, the checker flag drops. We go to the end now, so the checker flag drops. How close is it to the line between Broad and Yeaman? Nothing in it. And the time certainty there, that jumped forward, didn't it? Caught us all napping there, but Dyson gets the win. We'll have to have a look at that on a replay. Dyson gets the win from Broad and Yeaman. Nothing in it as they came onto that pit straight away. And the clock is out of whack, says Daniel. Yeah, there you go. Luckily, you're on the ball tonight. The clock was out of whack. Thought we had 2 minutes to go. We did not. Tyson Broad just hangs on by the smallest of margins. We'll have a look at that shortly. The run to the line. Here it is now. And let's have a look at the onboard from Daniel Yeaman. He got a great run out of the final corner. Here it was. And we'll wait for that checker flag. There it is. So look at that. Just half a car length in it in the end. And it goes in the way of Tyson Broad. But Andrew Dyson tonight, too strong. He takes the win. And in good form as well. Let's have a look at the race results. And we'll have a chat to the drivers hopefully shortly. But it was a pro driver that ended up getting the win tonight. And great drive by Andrew Dyson. Simrigs 1 and 2 though. Tyson Broad P2 for the Pro-Am driver. Daniel Yeaman P3 and also a Pro-Am driver ahead of Ross Rizzo. James Foster, Thomas Hinds, James Glasspool in 7th with Joshua Fitt, Adam Gardner and Wayne Hewitt rounding out your top 10. The top driver for the amateur class tonight, Stephen Garlicher. Good drive by him. Hopefully we'll speak to these guys shortly. We're going to head over to the comm booth now and bring in the drivers for a chat. We'll wait a little bit for Andrew Dyson. If he doesn't show, we'll go straight through to Tyson, who's standing by for a chat now. But wow, what a race. Bit of controversy at the end there, a couple of little spins. But all in all, some fantastic racing. Let's bring him in. And the two boys that ran to the line, nothing in it tonight. Well done. Good run to the line there, Tyson. You just held out, Daniel, for second place.
Yeah, it was a pretty good first hit out for the DPR team, and yeah, also a very good return to the series after missing quite a few rounds this season.
Yeah, great drive, man. And Andrew's joined us now, so you race winner tonight. Andrew, well done and good strategy tonight. You were late into the pits and it worked for you. Good run.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I didn't really have the super awesome pace of some guys tonight, but it got the job done, so that's cool.
And then Daniel, P3 tonight. Oh man, so close. You were just teetering on I guess fuel saving for that whole final stint.
So the numbers were super tight, but the moment I came out of the pits, I was 100% throttle all the way to the end there. And then with about 4 minutes to go, the numbers finally checked out that I was all good to keep going. So I just committed. Well, I was committed from the pit exit from the time we left the pit lane, but I was like, okay, I can commit. I can go for the attack, and then yeah, just too close actually coming onto the oval on that final lap there. So Tyson was able to block me off, and also obviously working with Andrew, of course, a little bit there to get what slipstream he could there. So just yeah, timing didn't work out in the end, but to come from the last row of the field tonight through to third place, definitely really happy with that one there. The Audi felt absolutely mega tonight.
Yeah, so close at the end there. Just needed a little bit, I guess another 100 metres you would have had him.
Yeah, maybe. It's certainly back and forth there. But also, I guess it's sort of a thing you sort of learn from, going like, right, well, next time set the run up a little bit differently when you come onto the oval. Just because yeah, I was just too close to be able to get a good slipstream in that particular instance.
Good to watch tonight. Thanks for coming in for a chat, boys. It's been a fantastic series. You're going to be away. A couple of you will be away next week. But we do have the finale next Sunday night. So hopefully we can get as many drivers as we can from past and present to jump in and have one last race for this championship. Let's do some thank yous, starting with Andrew Dyson tonight, your race winner. Who would you like to thank, mate?
I just thank all the guys who put on the series, and thanks for the ride. Even though I didn't roll up to every single race, it was cool to show up. I won't be here next week, unfortunately, but a few of the boys will be representing. So good luck to those dudes, and best wishes for the last race next week. Well
done, Andrew. Good win tonight. Tyson P2, who would you like to thank, man?
Mainly the series organisers, you for putting on the broadcast, also the DPR boys. I only just joined the team yesterday, so I've got to give a huge shout out to them for having me on board, all our sponsors, and yeah, just a great night, and all the other fellow competitors for a great race.
Yeah, the car looks good, man. The DPR car really stands out, so well done. And then finally tonight, P3, Daniel, who would you like to thank, man?
Yeah, first to the Drop Bear Motorsport boys, big thanks to all of them, even though tonight it was just me on track, but it's just the way it goes with Sunday night sometimes. Also to Seb Flock, great to be sort of chatting with him during the race. Unfortunately, rough night for him in the Evolution Racing Team 84, but yeah, good to have someone to chat with during the race all the same. So yeah, the Drop Bear partners in Coast Engineering Solutions, Sam Blacklock Media, Hybrid Racing Simulations, and Revolution Race Gear, plus Beyond Blue on the cars through for this stage ongoing. Yeah, certainly put a little bit more towards the donation drive with that result tonight. So great to be able to continue supporting them and keep pushing that fundraising tally up a little bit higher. Yeah, it's Adam James as the admins behind ASCC. Thanks for putting on the series, even though I've been helping out in the background more than actually being out on track and contributing to the numbers. But it's been refreshing to get back in behind GT3 in the past couple of weeks. In particular, just unfortunately, they decided to call time on the series at this stage, it seems. But I think they're definitely keeping their eyes and ears open. So hopefully something might be still around in a maybe more casual sense. But wait to hear from Adam and James, given that they're the ones in charge of it all. And thanks for broadcasting once again, Luke. Been great to watch this back and actually chat with guys after the race is done, even though it's a bit of a different way of doing things, perhaps.
Yeah, that's it, man. Thank you for your input as well with the SDK files and all that sort of stuff. So thank you. It's been a massive help. That's it for tonight, and one more race to go next Sunday. Hopefully everyone tunes in for that one. And thank you tonight to Andrew for coming in for a chat. Andrew Dyson with the win, Tyson Broad P2, and Daniel Yeaman P3. Great drive, guys. See ya.
Cheers, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
That's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Replay file of the race that happened at 8 o'clock tonight. We got it done. And this man, Andrew Dyson, the DPR was your race winner. We'll tune in next week for the finale, and we'll be able to announce the winners for each of the categories, the Pro class, the Pro-Am class, and the Amateur class. Thanks to everyone that dropped in. Will, you're a bit late tonight, mate. All good, though. Great to have you and everyone else that tuned in. Thank you. And big thanks to Graham Ellis, Tyson Hammer with the stars as well on Facebook, and everyone else that just put in their little bit of input. It's always good to have you. So until next time, I'm Luke. Good night.